sanibonani. Tewodros amlak. Mkhanyakude Tewodros kalimiti phezukwayo ntombazane izaqoma zabisana zodwa akakhala abafelokazi bakhumbula amadoda abo. Yasho insizwa. But today I have a very unpopular opinion. And I think this is going to challenge the understanding of a lot of people, particularly our mothers and our sisters and our wives. It is the concept of conscious conception and holistic free birth outside of the medical system, right? And this is tied to your sacred divine femininity, right? That the feminine energy that flows through all things is an energy that is entrenched in the principles of love and care. It is what is cosmically symbolized by the planet Venus, right? A uniting force. Our mothers and our sisters and our wives and our girlfriends, they go through the birthing process in the most barbaric and brutal way. First, how is it that it is permissible for a male doctor to help your wife or your mother or your sister to give birth? Secondly, that same male doctor is going to induce labor at a time where the natural clock, the natural alignment of the mother, the baby, and the world around it has not come into oneness. And our children, when they are born under the induction of these drugs, they are born half conscious, they are born sedated, and that's indirectly sedated because the person that is sedated is the mother, right? We must remember that the placenta is connected directly to the bloodstream of the mother. Any chemical or any, for lack of a better word, herb or chemical that is introduced into the mother's bloodstream goes directly to the baby. And if those drugs are minutes, even an hour before that baby arrives in this world, they will have effect on that child. And it is very important then for us to understand why women were able to give birth until your 55s, your 60s, because the free birthing principle allows you to be in connection with the Almighty and this vessel of the Almighty that is inside of you. The mother is a goddess. The mother is God on earth. It is the portal between one world and the other. And in the transition between leaving the world of the gods and entering the world of man, there needs to be a good transition. Imagine yourself going through a wormhole and all the space in that wormhole is not conducive for you to land in that new environment the way it is conducive for human life or for sustainable birthing, right? Imagine yourself as an adult, how would you feel? Put yourself in not even the shoes, put yourself in the tiny little toes of that little baby. And when we start to then disassociate ourselves from these birthing institutes, we will then enter into the nature of birthing. There is a group of women called the Free Birth Society. And the Free Birth Society talks about holistic free birth and conscious conception. And conscious conception just means that we are conscious in what happens when we create this child, right? So it is important to fast certain things even before you go into your marriage bed, or because some of us are not married, or some of you are not married, whatever space that you are going to create that baby, you need to be able to be at your utmost perfection as a human specimen, right? We need to put into practice, yes, unpopularly, the ideas of eugenics. We need to understand that we are not just birthing children, we are birthing energy. And this energy needs to dwell inside a porcelain, alabaster, or ceramic vase, which is essentially fragile. Do not create traumas for these children. And the first traumas of a child are during their birth. So when we are conscious about what is happening during the birth, we will then be conscious about how we grow our children. And those children will then be conscious human beings who will be contributing members of society in a positive manner. So we need to be able to understand what it is that we are getting ourselves into. We need to pick our partners right. We need to pick the homes that we get our partners from. Because some homes are not ready for us. Some women are not ready for our children as much as we are not ready for their children too. We need to sort ourselves out. In sorting ourselves out, also then comes in how do we bring this precious life onto earth. There's pre-birth rituals and post-birth rituals. But all of this is birthing process. Usana, the word meaning usando kuzalwa, is still in the presence of the Almighty. We do not speak our language. We speak the language of energy and emotion. When we are able then to allow ourselves to feel, we're able to detach ourselves from these unsavory practices which we have inherited from our colonizers, and birthing being one of them. It is important for women to enter into sisterhoods where they will be able to build one another. There will be a society of midwives and doulas who will be able to, like the mothers of old, our grandmothers, no koko mkulu, right? They will be able to have a say in the institution of birthing because they are the mothers of the society. Our mothers and our wives and our sisters go through a lot on the birthing bed. They get treated like animals on the birthing bed. Your children, before they are even able to take their first breath, are treated like a specimen. A child is supposed to have that first latching to the mother to feel the heartbeat, to, like a worm, like a kangaroo is born in the size of a worm and it has to crawl up into the pouch. The child has to crawl up. It needs to feel the mother. It needs to find its source of nourishment, the teat, by itself. Our children are snatched from their mothers. They are going to, umbilical cords are cut immediately and they're sent to go be cleaned. And all these moisturous oils and fluids which are there to first protect the child of this hostile environment that they are born into are stripped of their being or from their person. What then do we think is going to happen to our children when we detach them from that which has sustained them for the past 9 months? And yes, the umbilical cord and the placenta must be detached. But there is a way to do it. There is a way to administer that process. Birthing must have a spiritual, or someone who is spiritually inclined as well, who is going to advise on what to do once the baby is born, as much as before the baby is born. And once we start there, everything else will fall into place. But our wives need to stop going to the hospitals to give birth. Find out, learn. The Free Birth Society, research it, right? There are women all over the world who are giving birth to their own children in their own homes, either with the help of a doula or a midwife or their mother or their grandmother or even their male partners. And there are courses which partners can take if you do not even want a doula, because the baby comes out by itself. You don't even need to push. It's a reflex, like vomiting. And that is my unpopular opinion.